Hi, it's Angela here from Excel Life Coaching for Women. I would like to share with you 5 tips using the acronym HEART, H-E-A-R-T. In this journey called life, turbulent times are promised. Our heart is shaken, and during these difficult times, we must be realistic about what is taking place. Maturity allows us to take an honest assessment in how we deal with this heartbreak or brokenness. I want to encourage you because we are faced with a few choices during these difficult times. Number 1, we can run from the difficult circumstance and create further harm, like collapse, burnout, denial, and passive aggression. However, in choosing this route, we limit our perspective in life and fall prey to further distortions when future trials come. Number 2, we can freeze, which will cause further anxiety or depression because we fight the weighted suppression our brains were not made to endure. And number 3, we can stand firm in heartbreak or brokenness. In standing firm, we stand firm on the promises God has placed in our hearts. These promises are adding value to our lives as we take further steps to understand why we are here. For what purpose are we here? Why were we created? You know, those questions that are in the back of our minds? In standing firm, we are allowing our emotional muscles to be flexed, our emotional muscles to be strengthened by processing what we are feeling and trusting God that He is capable of being our guide, provider, and protection throughout the situation. The human heart comprises, as you have heard, the soul, generally known as the mind, will, and the emotions. It's like expressing the heart of the matter, the heart of the person, the core being of the person, the overall well-being of the person. It's the inner core that is struck with distress or tension and things like that. But there is a biblical reference in Proverbs 24:10 that says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength will be small. In other words, you'll never gain grit. You'll never be resilient to face the hardships in life. You'll never grow beyond what's meant for you to endure. Several tips I would like to leave with you as it relates to the heart of the soul or the soul in the process of life. Number 1, when the heart is moved by an unexpected situation, the H in heart stands for humility. Humility. Humility is there to teach us that our lives are like vapors. We are here today, but we can be gone tomorrow. Nothing in this world is promising. We can lose everything we hold on to in a day. Humility allows us to be in awe of our Creator who has given us life. It makes us come under another human being even when we feel we have been wronged. It clears the way for others to be healed and the freedom for them to identify and relate without refusal or denial. That's why we are made to be together in community, because we all have similar experiences. It may not be the same thing, but the outcome can be the same. But we can relate based on various situations. Corrie ten Boom, one of the Holocaust survivors, stated, "You must learn to hold on to everything loosely." Everything, she says, even your dear family. And she could speak on the subject because she had lost everything. She lost her home, she lost her family, she lost her possessions. However, she didn't lose her life. She gained a life worth living because of her faith in God. Not only that, she changed those who had caused or did her wrong, who had caused opposition in her life, who had taken her family. She actually changed their lives by her life. She actually forgave them, and God changed their lives through her. She says, I have held many things in my hands, and I have lost them all. But whatever I have placed in God's hands, that I still possess. Humility says, I have nothing to lose when I trust the everlasting God. The E in heart stands for emotions. Did you know that we are emotional beings and it's okay? Say, it's okay. It's okay that I get emotional at times. It's innate. I was created to be emotional at times. There are people who fail to understand that when God created humanity, He purposefully gave us emotions so that we can feel. There are people who have they have been placed in positions of detachment from their emotions. They have been conditioned or have conditioned themselves to separate their God-given emotions due to their wounded heart. There are others who deny their emotions because they become their emotions become a distraction or disrupt the process of their lives. So they train their brains to discount what they feel. Although these defense mechanisms may help for a time, they also can destroy or hurt others in the process and deprive the person of their natural instincts and perceptions of life. I love this quote by French theologian and pastor John Calvin. He says, many falsely suppose that the feelings which God has implanted in us as natural proceed only from a defect. Accordingly, the perfecting of believers does not depend on their casting off all feelings, but on their yielding, just giving into what is taking place at that time, giving into that cry that's been waiting to come for years, giving into even that anger at times that just want to come out. Sometimes you got to let it come out. Now, do we project it on another human being? No, we project it on other things. So you might take up a sport. You might take up kickboxing. You might take up martial arts. You might punch a bag. You might take up some kind of anything to exert that anger that want to come out. You might use a journal and write in your journal. Write those thoughts, nasty thoughts. Then you might tear the journal up and throw it away or burn it. But on their yielding to them and controlling them only for proper reasons. So there's a time to express those feelings. There's a time to yield and give in to them. But there's also a time to control those feelings. This quote is based on a scripture from Acts 20:37 through 38. When Paul was departing from the church in Ephesus and his disciples were heartbroken over his departure, it says, and they began to weep aloud and embrace Paul and repeatedly kiss him. So they not only cried out really loud, they kissed him repeatedly, grieving especially over the word which he had spoken. Some of y'all are still grieving, just grieving, and it's waiting to come out. You never cried, you never talked about it, you never dealt with it, you never confronted it, you never said, I'm just angry. You never spoke to God about it, although He knows what's going on inside of you. But these people, they didn't shy away from what they felt about Paul's departure. They knew that there was a chance that they would never see Paul again. So they cried, a bitter cry, and they kissed him continuously. Not only that, they walked him to his ship. You know how you've had those guests in your house and you hate for them to leave because you've had some honest conversation, some good conversation. You laughed, you cried, you talked about life, and then it's time for them to leave. And what do? You walk out the door with them, you walk them to their car, you make sure they get in the car, and then you say goodbye. Sometimes you might even shed a tear or so because that company was worth keeping. Well, God reveals his emotions throughout Scripture. We see that Jesus wept when his cousin Lazarus died. However, he had the power to also raise him up from the dead. He shared his emotions with us, and he shares in our emotions. God is the God who loves, yet also he hates. God is the God of goodness, yet also he's the God of wrath. God is the God who grieves, yet he gives us joy. However, his emotions are within balance. Therefore, we must be balanced in our emotions as well, with our emotions as well. The A in heart stands for appreciation. There are many ways to express our gratitude or appreciation in this life. To be appreciative is to look over your life and to simply count your blessings. I remember a song growing up we used to sing, count your blessings, name them one by one. I have a cold and allergies and it's just not coming out. But count your many blessings, name them one by one. Some of us keep a gratitude journal, a journal to put the things down that we're grateful for. Some of us, we just reflect. We sit back and take each day, just maybe 15 minutes, maybe some time, and we might jot down what we feel about what has happened in a day, or we just might sit back and relax before we go to bed and do our routine at night and think about some of the blessings that have occurred within that day. Our blessings are of value. We must respect those blessings. We must admire and recognize and be appreciative, enjoy what has been handed to us. God has given us life, and although for some it hasn't been great at all, some people have a bad start. And really, the Bible teaches that all of us really had a bad start coming in. However, some people have had to deal with more than what someone else has had to deal with. Excuse me. There are profound strengths a person have developed over time, though, because of the challenges they have faced in life. Have you ever looked at a person that you know have experienced like hell and back? Not real hell, but hell on earth and back. And then you see how resilient they are, and you're like, wow, how did they even get the motivation to do that or to keep going or this or that? We are enlightened through our challenges. I love this next quote by Nancy Leigh DeMoss. It covers actually my 3 first steps: humility, emotion, and appreciation. She says, in evidence that our will has been broken is that we began to thank God for that which once seemed so bitter. We all have had those times of embitterment, knowing that his will is good and that in his time and in his way, he is able to make the most bitter waters sweet. Whoa, I love it. I love it. The more we appreciate life, we understand that trials come, but they also will go. And there's always a lesson in what we go through. Therefore, we must be willing to wait for the moments when our trials will fade away. We have valleys and we have those mountaintops. As we look to God and discover his will in our lives, we release the painful events that once embittered us. The R in heart stands for reception. Reception is to be open and flexible to receive whatever God has given to us. He has given us life. So blessings and trials will come, but reception allows us to endure whatever comes with an open mind. See, we get better each time we go through a trial because we're strengthened by it and we know how to go through it the next time. Alan Funt, who is deceased but was an American producer, said, "When people are smiling, they are most receptive to almost anything you want to teach them." Don't you love when people are listening to you? I hope people are listening to me right now because it shows me that people have a heart to learn about their own heart. They have a heart to learn about what it takes to do better. They have a heart to grow. They have a heart that is waiting to be strengthened. So I love that quote. So smile because it reveals your open heart. The T in heart stands for transformation. Our hearts are transformed as we put our trust in God. He walked the earth through Jesus' life in humility. He lived with a central purpose in mind. And so therefore we have a purpose. And it should be in mind. And if not, we can talk about that. He shared his emotions. I remember when my son was just 6 years old. And if someone was to ask him a question that he didn't know the answer to, he would just say, "I don't know." Now, it wasn't that simple. He had his thumb in his mouth. "I don't know. I don't know." And that was it. "Don't ask me again." His face showed it. It's like, "I don't know." He was very honest about what he felt. He just didn't know. We take risk every day with our lives, although we don't want, we take risk every day with our lives, although we don't want or we don't know what tomorrow will bring. Can you say, "I don't know what tomorrow will bring"? None of us know. So we might as well be honest about, I really don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't know what my life is going to entail tomorrow. Today might be victory, tomorrow could be brokenness. Today might be filled with joy, tomorrow could be heartbreak. So we have to be honest and say, "I don't know." We have seen what has taken place with the Northeast hurricane, and we see what is happening in the Middle East. Wars, rumors of wars. However, God has placed eternity in our hearts. In the human heart, He has placed eternity. This is why we think about the afterlife. You can come to Him with a receptive heart and appreciation for the gift He has given to us, and your life will never be the same. He is our living hope. Transformation comes as we trust in Him with our lives. So, let's review the acronym for heart. The H stands for humility. The E is for emotions. The A is for appreciation. The R is for reception. And the T is for transformation. Well, again, my name is Angela from ExcelLifeCoachingForWomen.com. You can go to my website and schedule a free introductory consultation. I would love to hear from you soon. Take care.